I've been really out of it these past few weeks. Yeah, let's just put my problems with depression in a neat little bow and throw it in the bin because I want to get back in my groove. Before we tackle another Fate Verse manga and we get prepped for Shark Week, I want to talk about a small manga that I discovered and read in its fullness during my struggles with that thing and been percolating in the back of my mind like a pickle in a jar full of piss. Because let's be honest, pickles are disgusting, and I swear pickle juice is just artificial piss. But this isn't one of those pickles, to be fair. This is a nice pickle that's been pickled in something that isn't piss. Okay, this analogy has escaped me, but we are talking about Telework Yotabanashi. No intro again, because we're super chill time. Also, if I sound really nasally during this recording, it's because I'm actually physically sick. Like, I got COVID myself, so yeah, I am kind of in suffering right now, but we'll move on. Shortening its name down to Telework for the rest of the video, because Telework is part of this genre I kind of like, which is adult romances. I feel like a lot of modern manga titles these days are really directed at young adults. Like, there are obviously outliers to this. Like, there are titles for children, but I feel like a lot of manga speaks to young adults, or adults who just grew up with those titles, and read them because of nostalgia. I struggle to think of manga that's directed at adults, because it's not really a market publishers want to sell to. So when we get titles like Bartender and Kichi, titles that feel like are directed at adults with its grounded nature, I'm entranced by them. Even as a kid, getting a glimpse of the adult world was magical. And now as an adult-ish, Jesus, I'm 22, I really appreciate what adult titles do different. And the romance subgenre is amazing, to be honest, because of this. Like, shonen shoujo romance are good and feel very fantastical and idolized, and that's great as an escape. But adult romances feel very raw and honest. It's full of these problems that adults do encounter, and adds a lot of it. Well, it adds a lot of personality for me personally when it comes to these sort of works. Telework isn't exactly that, but it does. Well, it feels like it's doing this middle ground thing where we get this idealized version of a romance, but we're doing it with adults and sprinkling in problems of the time in it. These problems being COVID-19 and remote working. I really like that we get this perspective of our MC, a overworked office worker called Nokoro, coming from work after being told that he'll be working from home now, and how this change in his work life impacts his personal life. Like one of my favorite things is how one little change in how he views his home leads to this cascade of improvements. I also love this realization just coming from having an extra hour of sleep. Once again, one of those little things that I appreciate that adds to the feel of things. That sentence was nonsensical, so let's just move on. Focusing more on that middle ground I was talking about, I really do love that between the romance aspect of this manga, we get glimpses of Nikoro's new work life and his own personal struggles with his feelings for his neighbor, showing him stewing over this virgin relationship makes him relatable to younger readers as a sort of so even adults have trouble with these cues sort of thing, while our grown-up readers are nodding their heads in approval with the work from home stuff, because yeah, like, of course there's gotta take pleasure in being able to mute yourself so you can yell about a co-worker during a meeting because of their incompetence. That's funny and relatable. Not that I never worked from home. Honestly, I love that the scenario of COVID-19 is never explicitly said and more implied without paying it much heed. No, our characters are wearing masks, they're working from home, and there's travel restrictions. It's never this big problem, but more of another small detail used to borrow a term from my friend, mise en scene. Okay, I definitely used that wrong. The point is, the main focus of is the relationship with all these other things sprinkled in as set dressing. You know, it's not a big part of the manga, it's just there to make it more relatable. Of course, with the focus being the relationship, I should talk about how it's depicted, which is it's rushed at worst. So this is like a 20 chapter title plus one little extra chapter, with the author intending it to be a single volume release, a tankobon, I believe is the term to be exact. So it was intended to be short, but I do feel like them going from neighbors to lovers was a quick transition, with the conflict happening in the last chapter as it's intended, as it ended. It's short and sweet, I'll give it that, but this feels like a title that would have done better with an extra 5 or 10 chapters to breathe, especially when it feels like some of these chapters are just Nokoro talking to himself about the conveniences of working from home, or the conveniences of online shopping. I actually like the online shopping part. That was actually kind of cute. Getting back on topic. I'm not saying they should remove that aspect, because that part is what adds a decent chunk of the charm to the title. It just makes it more cramped, that's all. It's like the writer came up with all these lovely little scenarios and details, and then tried to force it into a 20 chapter structure. I just think with a little more planning, this title could be better. With that said, I encourage you to read this little gem if you're in the market for small titles and just want brief, cute little reads.